Zoop.
Doop a doop. Boop boop boop. How long are we gonna do this?
I don't know. What do I say? I'm Tamara.
And I'm Rel.
And this is Fearful Friends Podcast.
Boop boop boop.
So what are you drinking?
Oh, it's like orange ginger electrolytes. Because I was up very late last night.
Oh, that's boring. And you have water.
And I have a water because I'm thirsty all the time. I don't want to run out of one, and then I have a long drive home, and I like to sip while I drink, especially while like I'm passing somebody. I just like to casually sip from my drink, just be like, no big deal.
I'm not even paying attention to you, and I'm not aware of you. I'm just cool.
Yeah, I'm just drinking my drink, just like this is how I always drive. It's a vibe.
I don't want anybody to be aware that I'm aware of that.
Truly, I don't even like physically moving my head when I like look at the cars around me, you know, to like see if I can pass. I like look out of the corner of my eye because I feel like if somebody sees me move my head, this is how fucking psychotic I am. I need to mind my own business and just like think for myself. But like, I feel like if somebody sees me move my head to the left, they're gonna speed up and not let me pass. Because they know which direction I want to go, so I have to like sneak glances like, now's my time.
You have to have better faith in humanity.
No, everyone's shit. Everyone is literally shit.
Okay.
It's like so annoying. I hate driving on the highways. And like everyone just wants to fucking like speed all the time. And like I'm doing 80 already. You do not need to be going 100 miles an hour and like crawling up my ass because it just makes me want to brake check you.
Yeah.
Like, go fuck yourself.
Go around me. Stop.
Oh, wait. You can't get around me? Sorry, I'm already going 10 miles over the speed limit.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. So, I went back to work.
She did.
So hard.
Wow.
Really,
that was the whiniest thing you've ever said.
I really
so
hate
hard.
It. Honestly, like, I'm not going to get that into it because I will cry. But, like, just like Thursday night, I was like 11:30 at night and I'm like washing bottles and I'm like, this is just not right.
What day did you go back?
Exhausted. I went back Tuesday.
So I'm assuming that you figured out a plan for your babysitter.
Yeah, it's just like week by week. Like I get Rich's schedule because it's like, you know, it's slightly different every week. Mm-hmm. And then I just like text the group chat.
You have a babysitter group chat. Who's available?
I'm like, I need a babysitter this day at this time, this day at this time.
And so far, everyone's been able to pitch in?
Well, it's been 4 days, but yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I think you need a better long-term plan.
There's no long-term plans here. Long-term plan is maybe get like slightly hit by a car and then like
just a little bit broken.
Not be able to go to work and that's
you
that.
could set up a slip and fall at work. Get some short-term disability.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't record that.
No, but
I would never do that. I'm too afraid of actually hurting myself.
Also, I don't think you could pass a drug test. No, and they'll be like, "Well, she was obviously high when it happened."
Oh, yeah.
So that's out. So it can't be a work accident.
No, just like wait to see like some like really old rich white dude backing up and like not paying attention in a parking lot and like just jump behind him
and just be like, oh, my neck, oh no, I'll never be the same.
Yeah,
I'm a dancer. I'm a dancer. I'll never dance again.
No more like my hand, I'll never count again.
You know how often you and I used to kayak? I mean, like, not like that often. When I had like my car accident and I had to like go to like court about it, you know, because I ended up suing the insurance company because I had zero money to pay for all the medical bills and shit. Like my back was fucked up, but like
back still is fucked up.
It is still very fucked up, but I also had to like, you know, zhuzh it up a little bit, and like they made me bring up like she was a kayaker all the time, multiple times a week she kayaked, and now she can't kayak anymore, and I'm like. Yeah, my life has been altered irreparably. You just gotta, you know, buff it up a bit.
Yeah.
These insurance companies have plenty of money.
They do.
What do we pay them for?
I'm so sick of insurance, but we won't get into that.
So, as far as going back to work, how is it without Judy there?
That's the only reason I went back. If she was there,
You'd be like, I'm done. I quit. I'm sorry. I'm not coming back.
I straight up told every person that works in that building that, and they're like, oh, I'm so glad you're back. And I said, well, I wouldn't be here if Judy was here.
So y'all made a good call.
And then the next time they say, oh, I'm so glad you're back, I say, I'm not. And I've been saying that to every customer that comes in. They're like, oh my God, Tamara, I'm so glad you're back. I'm not.
Are you going to get in trouble for that?
No.
Don't you have to like pretend to be all like sunshine and giggles?
No. I mean, like, because I have a relationship with most of my clients because they come in.
So they know, you'd rather be home with your baby than like, also, I have to be here. I don't want to be here.
Yeah, I'm like showing them pictures of my baby too. And I'm like, yeah, I wish I was home with him.
And you're like, I don't even know who he's with right now.
Yeah.
Just picture that, sir. Where is your baby?
What would you do if your son was at home, crying all alone in the bedroom?
Because he's hungry and the only way to freedom is... I'm not going to finish that.
No. You know what I learned?
What?
The Yin Yang twins are not twins.
I don't even know who the Yin Yang twins are. Is that a new pop culture thing that I missed out on? Because I'm not on TikTok?
Yeah, you know who the Yin Yang twins are.
Artists.
Yeah.
Musicians.
With like Little John, Get Low, From the Window.
That's the Yin Yang twins?
Yeah. They're not actually twins.
Who knew?
It was really difficult for me when I...
When did you find this out? Like recently?
Yeah.
Wow. Your like whole mind was shattered.
I was like, Rich, did you know this? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, why didn't you tell me? Like, we talk about it all the time.
I get that way when I find out that like people that have like died and they've been dead for like 10 years. Who was it?
You're like, Robin Williams?
It was like something like that where it was like a big name and Matt was like, they've been dead for like 10 years, dude. Where have you been? And I'm like, what? I don't remember who it was though. Was it like Prince or something? I don't know. It was someone big. Like I should have known, but like I just don't really, I don't go on like I'm not on TikTok. Every time I go on the interwebs and I see like, oh, this celebrity is marrying this celebrity, I'm like, y'all are just making people up at this point. Like nobody knows who these people are. What are they famous for? Nothing. They're just rich people.
You're just the only one that doesn't know who they are.
Apparently. I don't know. So many new names. So many new people.
Huh.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. I just, I'm back to work, but that's that. Anything interesting happened to you at work?
It's just been like...
No, I know something interesting that happened to you at work.
Oh, you mean when I had to pick up a condom off the ground?
Yeah. That's what I mean.
At fucking like 5 a.m? Like the first thing when I get there, like I have to like walk around the back of the building to make sure there's no garbage anywhere. And just because people fucking drive behind grocery stores and just throw bags of fucking trash everywhere. It's like the most disgusting, annoying thing ever. And
that's
so
terrifying.
It's just
only because in my mind I thought you were going to say people throw away babies for some reason, and then I
would not be surprised.
Oh my god, what if you found a baby?
They throw a lot of shit back there. I had there was like one time I had like an entire grocery bag or like a garbage bag full of just like coffee grounds, and it had like rained and it was so fucking like wet and heavy, and I'm like, why? Just fucking throw it in your yard or something. Like, what is the matter with you? And why are you driving behind a grocery store to dump your fucking trash? And then like, I have to lock our recycling bin because people will like just fucking like open it up and throw furniture in there. Like there was one day I found a whole ass couch inside of our big green recycling bin. And I'm like, it says right on the outside, cardboard only. You put a fucking couch in there. I don't even lift a couch. The thing is 5 feet tall.
Like, I just don't get where they're coming from. Because, like, you live in a city that has, like, trash service.
Yeah.
So, like,
multiple times a week, actually. It's better than in my city that I live in. We only get once a week pickups.
How is bringing a trash can easier? A trash can. A couch easy. Okay.
They're like, I don't know. I see a big dumpster over there. Let me just bring my couch. So, yeah, I'm like walking in the back of the building. And literally the second I roll up the door, it is sitting a foot outside of like the receiving door.
Gross.
And I'm like, what the fuck? All I can picture is like a couple of like unhoused people just fucking leaning up against the receiving door. That is all I can picture. And then I'm just sitting there thinking like, you know, I bet this happens a lot. Like, because like the back of a grocery store at night is like the perfect place for like drug deals, cheating on your spouse. Like, nobody's ever back there except for trash throwers. And they don't want to get caught either.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And we have like a compactor with like a little like hallway back there. You really can't see shit back there when it's dark. Yeah, so that's probably where they're doing it. They just flung the condom out and it was like, hey, somebody else's problem. Wear gloves. I have AIDS. I don't know. Like, what the fuck?
Ugh, gross.
It was very upsetting. And then I was like, I texted you, I texted Matt, and then I texted my group chat with like my 3 managers. And I was like, if I had to see it, everyone had to see it. And I had to pick it up. I had to put gloves on.
Why were you the one that had to pick it up?
Who else is going to do it? Hey, boss, can you come back here and pick this fucking condom up because I just don't want to touch it?
Don't you have, like, maintenance people?
We have 2 utility clerks with special needs. I'm not going to ask them to come back there just because they have special needs. That's just not right.
Okay. Yeah.
That's just not fair. Hey, already, like, one of them, there was, like, one time we had a rat, a dead one. We had, you know, put a trap down.
Yeah.
And yeah, my manager didn't want to touch it. So she made one of the special needs kids come back there, glove up, and pick up the dead rat.
Well, she's a bitch. No,
I know.
Like...
And he's like, I don't mind. And I was like, well, you should.
Like, people you can call in.
No, that would take a week.
God.
That would literally, we have to put in a ticket. And then we have to, like, call them and what's going on? Oh, there's a condom on the floor. And then be like, well, yeah, we're not sending a tech out for a condom on the floor.
Like, when the homeless guy goes to the bathroom in our lobby, which is, like, once a month, I guess now, we just call maintenance. We're not allowed to touch it.
Yeah,
like,
we don't have,
it's like, bodily fluid.
Yeah. We have one cleaning guy who, like, he works from, like, I think he comes in from, like, 4 and then he leaves at 7. He cleans the store. He doesn't clean the outside of the store. Then we have this other guy that's like, I guess he's like hired by like the property manager and he'll like blow like leaves and shit around. I don't know what the fuck this man's schedule is. Like there were like 3 weeks where I didn't see him once. And then there was like one day where he was literally blowing leaves for like 8 hours outside of my back door. And I'm like, that's a long time to just be blowing leaves around in the same spot. And also, where are you the rest of the month? And then, like, one time he drove past on his golf cart and I was picking up trash and he goes, hey, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm picking up trash so that it doesn't go into the gutters and clog our drains. And he's just like, well, that's my job. And I'm like, well, then do your job because you're never fucking here.
Be my fucking guest and clean this up.
Yeah. Do you think I like gloving up and picking up candy wrappers and used Little Caesars boxes? No. It's disgusting. I hate people. Yeah, other than that, work's just been like, you know, the normal nepotism, favoritism, like bullshit. I'm so over it. And I can't get another job at another store because everyone else is super happy with their jobs and nobody's quitting.
We tried. Would it be nepotism if Rich got you a job?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, I'm just hearing a lot of bad things about where he works. And I don't know if it's for me.
As long as he doesn't get fired or, you know, decline in pay.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, so do you have a story for
yes,
me?
I do.
I get to listen?
You get to listen because I got a bug up my ass and I was like, I'm sick of sitting around doing nothing. It's a longie, kind of, I think. I didn't read through it, but... What? Tidia just attacked you.
Babe.
I told you not to hold her like a baby earlier.
I was lovingly holding her. I was giving her support.
She just fucking jumped off the shelf, this Raggedy Ann doll. Not kidding.
Anyway, Raggedy Ann just fell off the shelf and
then our power went out in our ears.
Mine is like going all like wonky between my 2 ears. All right, Miss Tidia, do you...
You need to just relax, Tidia. We'll get to you eventually.
Sit here.
No jumping.
You look uncomfortable. Please don't hurt us. Okay.
Ugh, her back. She needs some lumbar support.
Okay.
Okay, so our story takes place August 21st, 1986 in Cameroon, West Central Africa. Ephraim Shea was a farmer in a village on Lake Nyos. He and his 4 kids lived in a mud brick house overlooking the lake, and on most days it was picturesque. Think crystal blue water surrounded by lush vegetation.
Ooh.
I know. The family lived a quiet, simple life where they raised livestock, grew their own food, lived off the land, and they had this close-knit community of other farmers and ranchers around them. This particular area of Lake Nyos was known to be volcanic highlands. So the lake was formed when lava interacted with the groundwater and basically exploded, like back in the day when the volcano was active. Mm-hmm. And then this newly formed crater was filled in by water and stayed there because the explosion formed this like volcanic rock dam around the lake, which just holds the water in. The volcano that created the lake is now extinct and, you know, was at this time in 1986, but the lava still flowed underneath the lake. So, you know,
understand, but okay.
It's science. This is a very sciencey episode. And I was like, Matt, you're going to be like so proud of me. I did such a sciencey episode and I really nerded out. And I was like, Tamara's going to be so fucking bored.
But Matt will be proud.
Matt would be so proud. He's going to be like, wow, you're so smart. Thanks. So the night of the 21st, the Shea family is settling down for the night. And it's around 9 p.m. at this time. Ephraim hears this rumbling noise that he thinks sounds like a rock slide or something. And he looks towards the lake and he sees this weird mist that he said was like rose colored rising from the lake. He tells his kids, you know, it's time to get to bed. There's probably a storm rolling in. Like maybe that's thunder that I hear. Also around this time, Ephraim starts to feel a little bit ill. So he gets to bed too. Down in the lower part of the village, close to the lake's shore, another ranching family is winding down for the night as well. Halima Suli and her 4 kids, who lived in a commune of huts along with several other members of her family, they had also heard this weird rumbling out of nowhere. And she actually described it as sounding like, quote, the shouting of many voices. She hears this noise that she thinks is like a whole bunch of people shouting. And then she said a random gust of wind blew through their group of huts, and she passed out cold. In the morning, Ephraim, the first guy, he woke up and headed downhill towards the lake and towards like where Halima lives with her family. And he noted that the normally pristine lake had this reddish tint to it. He gets a little closer and he notices that the waterfall that spills downhill is kind of dry. Like the rocks where the waterfall would normally hit, they were all dry. There was no waterfall anymore. And then he also noticed that it was like really quiet. This is a farming community where everyone is up and at 'em super early in the day. There's animals, there's wildlife, and it was just dead silent. So at this point, he knows something isn't right, and he runs further along the lake, downhill. So this is when he hears Halima screaming. She had finally woken up. She had gone completely, and I hate this word, but she was hysterical. She ripped all of her clothes off, and she was both horrified and agonized when he found her. She screamed at Ephraim, "Come here. Why are all these people lying here? Why won't they move?" Yeah. So she's in shock, and Ephraim finally realizes why she's screaming. He tries to look away from what he's seeing, but he's surrounded by the bodies of all of Halima's children and 31 members of her family that lived in the commune with them, along with 400 of their cattle. Ephraim remembers, quote, "On that day, there were no flies on the dead," unquote. So not even flies are around, along with the silence of the wildlife. It's fucking creepy, right? Yeah. So now he's like, I have other family members here. Like, oh fuck. Yeah. They're just like in other parts of the village. And he's wondering, like, are they even safe? So he runs towards the lower end of the village. Like, I'm picturing, like this lake is at the base of a valley. So a lot of people like live at the top rim and then, slowly migrated closer to the water. Obviously, it's where things are more lush. It's where you can grow better crops. It's where access to fishing and stuff like that. So they're kind of spread out all over this area. So he keeps running lower, closer towards the villages down there. And it's here that he discovers that almost every one of the 1,000 residents was dead, including his parents, his siblings, aunts, uncles.
My God.
Yeah. Many of the residents seem to have mysteriously died right on the spot of like where they would normally be around 9 o'clock at night when he heard that weird rumbling noise.
Uh-huh.
So, at that time, people are putting the kids to bed or cooking food around the fire. And that's exactly like where he found these people, just in the middle of doing their everyday things. It was also later found out that some victims had actually woken up after being unconscious. And when they looked around and saw all their family members had passed away, they ended up taking their own lives. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I couldn't even imagine. One survivor by the name of Joseph said that the night started out with a very bad smell. He couldn't put his finger on it. He just said it was bad, like sulfury almost.
Okay.
And he said his daughter was already asleep at this point, but then she started snoring in this unnatural way. So he walked over to check on her, and then he lost consciousness. And he doesn't remember anything until he he wakes up the next morning on the floor
Oh my God.
to his neighbor banging on his door. He gets up. He notices that his pants were red and they were kind of sticky like honey. He said his arms had wounds on them, but he had no recollection of how he got those wounds. And then he found his daughter deceased. At that point, he actually passes out again. And he then wakes up again at 4:30 that afternoon. So everybody passes out at 9 o'clock the night before. He woke up in the afternoon and then passed out again until 4:30. When he wakes up at 4:30, he makes it out of the door to go check on his neighbors, the ones that were banging on the door. And they were all dead at this point.
Oh, my God.
So when they were banging on the door trying to wake him, they knew something was going on. And then it seems like everyone just went out again. At this point, he knew he had to get out of there, so he somehow managed to get on his motorcycle and drive to the next nearest town for help. It's amazing that he even made it there, because he said he was just fighting like this crazy like exhaustion that he couldn't explain the whole time. He could barely stay upright.
Reminds me of, oh God, what is it called? Like, carbon
monoxide poisoning. Yes.
Poisoning. Thank you.
Very, very similar. Yeah, and then like the whole time he's driving on his motorcycle, he said he didn't see any signs of life, people or animals.
Wow.
Yeah. Other survivors said they had heard the rumble that night, but they just thought it was like distant thunder. And then some of them actually say they saw a mist-like cloud come out of the lake and then lower into the valley in surrounding villages. And at that point, they said the air reeked of sulfur or maybe even gunpowder. They complained of intense headaches, feeling ill. One survivor was actually walking around the village when the mist settled on the houses, and he said he felt this warm feeling as if he were like suddenly drunk. And then he noticed everyone around him started coughing, some vomiting blood. Some people were stripping their clothes off because they felt their skin was burning. And at a certain point, people just couldn't fight the exhaustion anymore, couldn't keep their eyes open, and they just fell asleep where they were.
Oh,
and
my God.
Yeah, most of them did not wake up. So the final count on this nightmare of how many deceased were found is somewhere between 17 and 1,800 residents, along with around 8,000 livestock and, countless like wild animals and insects even. But the true number is most definitely higher. Authorities didn't know what this was. They had no idea how this many people just keeled over and died within a few hours' time. So their immediate thought was like containment, because they were like, this must be some kind of plague or virus, So the National Army was dispatched, and they were ordered to bury the bodies quickly. And they rarely slowed down to count just how many they were burying, because they were focusing on speed rather than body count. So unfortunately, most were buried in mass graves because they just didn't have the manpower either to dig individual graves for everyone that was lost. And really the only ones who did get a private grave was because a relative had survived the catastrophe and was able to claim the body and like bury it on their property. But like, you know, they had to bury all the people that died. And then they also had to focus on the cattle because it's Africa and it's hot and muggy. And yeah, can you imagine the smell?
Yeah. Like the pictures here thankfully don't show people.
Yeah.
But
I don't think I saw any pictures really of the people. I saw a lot of pictures of the cattle.
Yeah.
Because it was just a big farming community. I mean, it's wild. So, you know, with all the death and decay around them, authorities are trying to get survivors out of the area, which is proving difficult because, you know, people don't want to leave their homes. Some of these people were born there where they lived. And, you know, you're not going to take them out of their homes. And their families just died. And they don't want to leave them.
Plus, that's their livelihood, the farm.
Yeah, the farm. Yeah. And, like, they didn't really have a plan for these people. Like, they set up refugee camps in the outlying areas, but this wasn't, like, intended to be a long-term plan. So after a while, they kind of just, like, released those people from the camps, and they were like, do whatever you want. Like, no compensation, no assistance, like, financially to get back on their feet, to get their farms back up and running.
Out on the street. Goodbye.
Basically, yeah.
Kick you to the curb.
Yeah. So, you know, they're getting people out, and then once those people are out, they need to start bringing in scientists and doctors to figure out what caused this massacre. This quickly became an international relief effort, one that officials in Cameroon were not accustomed to at all. Like, they weren't expecting anyone to help them. And I do think this is kind of funny because they were sent so much, like, relief aid by, like, I don't know, like the United Nations and like stuff like that. People like wanted to pitch in and help. They had never experienced something like that. So they were like, wow, we got to get serious about this. And they set up a national disaster committee. And the newly hired chairman of the committee announced priority number 1. Our first priority is to set up priorities. And that is a quote. That is a quote.
Oh, Michael Scott.
I LOL'd. It's just like, wow, like nothing had happened like that. And they were just like, what do we do? Let's figure out what we do. Let's make a list. We love a list.
I feel like our president would have said that.
I know. Priority number 1, make a list of priorities. So after hearing all of that, I bet you're wondering, wow, Rel, this is really fucking morbid. What the fuck is going on? And I think you've probably already sussed out that this is not the plague. Am I correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely. I've already talked about the carbon monoxide.
So the plague was definitely one of the earlier theories. Another early theory was that a bomb had gone off, like some form of like terrorism or, you know, eco-terrorism or something to like ruin the crops, because this area was, you know, with the volcanic ash and stuff like that, the farming community was like the best in Africa. I mean, that's where like they were major distributors in like coffee and cocoa and stuff like that. And not to mention all the livestock, like the ground is very fertile there. So like they were just like,
lush
they were like, oh, maybe somebody did this to fuck up the food supply. So it was pretty obvious, though, that the damage was not catastrophic in like a bomb kind of way, though. So then they thought, well, this is volcanic highlands. It used to be an active volcano. Maybe like somehow it became active again and it erupted. But again, not exactly the kind of destruction we're looking at. There was no like fucking lava all over the place. And again, the volcano was still known to be dead at the time. But when they started interviewing witnesses, you know, their statements just bring up over and over this cloud of mist over the lake. A lot of people brought that up. The strong smell, the tired feeling. These are all consistent with some sort of gas poisoning. Like you said earlier, something similar to carbon monoxide poisoning. We know it as this silent killer. And, you know, obviously we know of it happening when you have these fumes going in an enclosed space. You fall asleep, you can't say that word. Asphyxiate. That's a really hard word to say.
How about positional asphyxiation?
I don't like that. That's really scary. You ever seen pictures of that? It's awful.
I mean, it's scary being a mom because they talk about it all the time with babies.
Yeah, it's awful. Awful, awful. So, they were thinking, like, it's probably unlikely for, like, a carbon monoxide poisoning to happen because this was in open air and it was, like, over such a vast area. So, you know, the answer begins with another story.
Okay.
We're going back, okay?
Okay, I'm ready.
Still in Cameroon, August 15th, 1984, 2 years before the Lake Nyos disaster.
Oh, okay.
60 miles south of there at Lake Manoun. Monoun?
Cameroon, Manoon.
Something like that. And then I wrote, I'm not even going to try to pronounce these names. I'm just going to refer to them as these dudes. So there's this one 17-year-old, sorry, not 17. He's 72-year-old dude.
Close.
Yes, dyslexia. He's biking down the road heading towards town. It's very hilly there, so he rides into this dip in the road at the base of this valley, and he comes across this pickup truck parked on the side of the road. He recognizes this car, and he knows it's the local Catholic priest in the area. Outside the car, he finds the priest's body. He continues on. There's not much he can do about it until he gets into town anyways, because at this time they didn't have cell phones or, pay phones or whatever along the road. So on the road, he sees another seemingly abandoned vehicle with another body next to it. So now he's starting to think, okay, like maybe this was a car accident or something. And, he carries on. He's got to get to town and fucking tell people about this. Now he's starting to feel fatigue, like really strange fatigue. He's a biker. He does this all the time. He's used to this.
Could you imagine as a 17-year-old?
72.
Oh,
72.
The whole time I'm picturing a 17-year-old.
72 years old, and he's riding up and down these hills, finding bodies, and he's like, well, gotta get back to town.
Selective listening.
I said 17 when I first, I fucked up. That's on me.
But anyway, like, how haunting.
Yeah.
Like,
awful. And it's like, it reminds me of like The Walking Dead or something.
Yeah.
You're like going down the highway and there's just like bodies everywhere. Ooh. So, at the point that he starts feeling tired and like fatigued, he gets off his bike because he doesn't want to, fall over when he's riding. So he's walking his bike along the road. He passes a herd of sheep that are all dead. He passes more stalled vehicles whose drivers are also dead. And as the road goes on, it's then starting to incline as he's getting closer to town. So he's coming out of that valley where he sees a friend of his walking towards him. He tries to warn him, don't go that way. Something's going on. But because of his like exhaustion and like this weird brain fog, he can't get the words out. He said it was like being in a dream. Like it was just like he just sees his friend go and he can't stop it.
Just observing everything
around
him.
So they both carry on in opposite directions, and he ended up surviving while his friend, along with 36 others, ended up dying on that low stretch of road in the valley.
Holy shit.
I know. What the fuck? Initially, they had thought the long dormant volcano, which was right outside Lake Manoun, had reactivated. So the U.S. Embassy called on a volcanologist to go investigate. A volcanologist from Rhode Island.
Man,
Wild.
I chose the wrong career path.
I know. Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Who knew that there were volcanologists in Rhode Island?
Yeah, with all the volcanoes.
I know.
Obviously.
Hey, this guy ended up getting there several months after all of the deaths, and through his testing, he was able to rule out volcanic eruption. He saw none of the typical signs. There were no temperature fluctuations in the water, and the lake bed hadn't been disturbed. So he goes to collect a water sample so he can test it for like some kind of chemicals or whatever. And the lid keeps popping off the vial every time he puts water in it. And that's when he realized, oh shit, this water is loaded with carbon dioxide.
Okay.
And it's just trying to escape. So most of the time, carbon dioxide is relatively harmless. I mean, we are literally breathing it out in this enclosed closet right now.
Right.
It's only at a super high concentration that it becomes really dangerous because it completely displaces oxygen. After a few weeks of research, this volcanologist was able to deduce that over years or even centuries, the gases from the still-flowing magma beneath the lake had basically built up in the bottom depths of the lake's water and then had exploded, which released a blast of concentrated carbon dioxide into the surrounding area, suffocating anyone that was within the hazard zone. He ended up writing this paper up with all of his findings and calling the phenomenon, quote, a hitherto unknown natural hazard. No. Hitherto. Rhode Island. Am I right?
Sir, it's the 80s. Oh, my God. I'm dizzy.
Hitherto. Oh, God, is it carbon dioxide poisoning?
I think I just laughed too hard.
So he said this hitherto unknown natural disaster had the potential to destroy entire towns. And just a few months before the Lake Nyos disaster happened, he submitted it to a prestigious science journal in the United States, who laughed at him. They rejected his findings.
Just like I did, because you said hither, sir.
They said hitherto. Maybe if he had gotten a different title, they would have been like taking it seriously.
Come on, people read.
They're like, sir, we don't talk like that anymore. You're a fool. So yeah, they claimed his theories were far-fetched. And then his study just got forgotten about, except for like the few scientists who actually thought the theory could be solid. So fast forward to just days after the Lake Nyos disaster, history repeats itself. Scientists are sent out into the lake to collect samples and find out if there was a volcanic eruption here. And when they're investigating, they overhear villagers talking about the similarities between Lake Manoon and this Lake Nyos tragedy. You know, the villagers know what happened because it was just 60 miles away. So with that in mind, they start looking into the similarities and they find the study paper that had been rejected. And then they're like, oh, shit, this kind of makes sense. It did take several months, but scientists were finally able to piece together what happened at Lake Nyos that caused that many deaths. So here's where we get extra science-y with it.
Okay.
Real nerdy. I need you to focus.
Okay.
Gonna take a sip of my water.
Carbon
dioxide.
Carbonated water.
I had previously mentioned that this lake was formed by a volcanic explosion. So basically the bottom of this crater is a thick layer of porous volcanic rubble and ash. Whether or not the carbon dioxide is still being produced from the magma below or if it's just left over from its previous, live volcano activity, they're not sure. But wherever it comes from, typically the gases are able to bubble up and escape naturally through little cracks and crevices in the base of the lake. But because this crater lake is 682 feet deep, this is an exceptionally deep lake for this, for this type of lake, a crater lake. It creates a lot of pressure down at the base, and it's also in this like weird carrot shape, which less surface area for anything to escape. It creates a lot of pressure, and this pressure is keeping the carbon dioxide from actually bubbling out. So the weight of the water is holding down all those bubbles. So think of a cap on a bottle of soda. You crack the top, bubbles out, it releases all that gas, it's fine. Because of the lake's geographical location, in Africa, it doesn't really see any significant temperature shifts, which would naturally stir the pot of water, basically. Cold, like seasons changing and stuff like that, it would constantly make the water currents move. This is basically stagnant water, so nothing is stirring anything at the bottom of the lake where all that gas is building up. So yeah, they're all just accumulating at the bottom, probably for several years, if not centuries. So we have this buildup of gas. Now we need a trigger to release the gas. And it could have been something as simple as a random drop in air temperature causing the water to mix, or even a strong gust of wind that caused a disturbance in the water, like a wave or something. But scientists remember, everyone talked about hearing that weird rumbling noise, and they thought it was a rock slide. Now, a rock slide going down into the water would create enough of a disturbance that it would shake everything up at the base.
Yeah.
And they also noted that there was a nearby cliff face on the lake that showed signs of a fresh rock slide. So whatever the reason, the result was a geyser exploding out of the water, releasing this huge cloud of concentrated carbon dioxide that hit the shoreside villages first, and then traveled down from the lake at about 45 miles per hour, and then stretched 14 miles in diameter around the lake.
Holy shit.
Yeah. The scientists' findings also noted that there were massive sections of lakeside vegetation that were completely stripped up to 262 feet in the air, most likely from a carbon dioxide-driven water spout, like a fucking tornado, that unfortunately no one was able to witness because everyone was unconscious or dead.
Dioxide tornado.
Basically.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So, yeah, like think like a fucking geyser at like Yellowstone coming up and then... I mean, it took down fucking trees on one whole side of the lake. And as far as that strange red coloring that everyone was noticing, the red tinted mist or the water being red, I first I was like, wow, that's so fucking metal. It must be blood. But no, it is proof that the bottom of the lake was disturbed because the bottom of the lake was filled with iron-rich water. Mm-hmm. When it gets sucked up to the surface, it's exposed to oxygen, which turns it brownish red.
Yeah.
Science.
Like the rocks and like red rocks.
Yes, precisely. So it's not blood, which is whatever.
I'm sorry.
I just thought that would be cool.
Science.
I don't know. After the disaster, several years were spent figuring out a way that people could safely like repopulate the area again. Officials threw around ideas from dropping bombs into the lake to, you know, like all at one time release the gas, or dumping lime into the lake to neutralize the gas. But in the end, they decided that the cheapest, safest way would be to install piping that goes from the deepest layers of the lake to the surface where the
giant
gas...
straw.
Fuck yeah, dude. You know, put a straw in a soda. It's the same fucking principle. So yeah, that would let the gas slowly, naturally creep out. And not build up. By 2001, 15 years later, the Cameroon government had finally gotten all the funds together to assemble all the piping and equipment and manpower that they would need for the job. It took 15 years. They lowered the piping 666 feet down.
Seriously?
Hooked up the remote activation switch. And then they retreated to higher ground to give it a whirl. After just seconds of being activated, this pipe sprayed 148 feet of water and gas at 100 miles an hour into the air. So the degassing has begun. The downside, though, to the piping is that it is an extremely slow process. And with just one pipe, they were barely able to... with just one pipe, which they were barely able to even get their hands on at all for funding and manpower, it could still take more than 30 years to fully degas the lake and, you know, deem it as safe. Because, you know, while it's slowly degassing, carbon dioxide is still coming through the cracks from the lava underneath. So it is definitely still in the danger zone. Mm-hmm. But, you know, you can't stop people from migrating back to their homes. So I guess in the meantime, you know, as like a safety precaution that I don't even know if it's going to fucking work, they installed carbon dioxide detection systems within the lake that can sense when the CO2 reaches critical levels. And then if that happens, it'll trigger sirens throughout the villages. And they say that everyone knows when you hear the sirens, evacuate to higher ground. But, you know, who knows? They've never actually tested the system, as far as I know. So
plus your animals, like
yeah, your thousands and thousands of livestock. Yeah. Who the fuck knows? Hopefully it never gets to that point, but at least they have some sort of warning system. I hope it works. They, as far as like Lake Manoon goes, they've already tried the piping system. I think because that lake was shallower, it was much easier to do the piping. It didn't have to be as deep. But even that one, when they took measurements, they said it was releasing like 30-something% carbon dioxide into the air, which is still incredibly dangerous.
Okay.
So For now, things are quiet at Lake Nyos. There hasn't been an incident since 1986, but I would avoid doing any cannonballs into the lake if at all possible. You don't want to disturb anything at the bottom because one pipe is not enough. They would definitely need like 5 pipes to degas a lake that deep.
Shit.
That's my story. Were you bored?
God, no. Imagine like all the people that like had done stuff on the lake and like it's just that rock triggered it.
Boom. Yeah. Well, they were actually worried at Lake Manoon because it was a much more shallow lake. They were like, if you swim even 5 feet deep, it would be like the butterfly effect. Even 5 feet deep could create enough of a disturbance in the lower levels of the lake where like you would be at risk for an explosion.
Don't like that.
And that is current. Even with the degassing.
Oh, God.
Because of the high levels of carbon dioxide at the bottom.
So people live there again?
As far as I could see.
Okay.
I don't think nearly as many people live there, and I do think that people are staying away from like the lower part of the valley. Yeah.
Jeez.
It's where the best farming is. What are you going to do?
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, that's my story. We get to record another episode. We've got Tamara's story coming up next.
We do.
2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from when this episode comes out.
Ish.
So, sum it up, girl. Follow us on whatever the fuck we're on.
Sorry, I was yawning.
She was dancing. She was
Yawning.
dancing.
Like, subscribe, rate us 5 stars. Like, please tell someone about our podcast.
Yeah, I did a lot of work on that.
Yeah,
Rate us.
please. And we get published on YouTube now. We have a YouTube channel.
Not our faces, but just the audio.
One day.
No. No.
Yes, I created beautiful backgrounds for us.
We need to be incognito because what if our work sees that we are talking shit online? I need my job. All right. I never remember how to end it. Bye.
Bye, friends.
Bye.